Welcome, everybody. It is the Christmas season, and we are doing the song "The Most Wonderful Time of the Year" here on Wednesday at 12:30. And it's a beautiful day in the villages, and it is a wonderful time of the year. So hopefully, everybody celebrates in a wonderful way this year. It is a four-pager, as you can see, and there is some stuff about it. So let's read what we know about it. This is a popular Christmas song written in 1963 by Edward, what's his last name? Pola. Okay. And George Weil. I haven't heard of these guys before, so I wonder where they came from. Recorded and released by Andy Williams for his very first Christmas album. Up here comes Barbie. However, the song itself was not released as a single by the record label that year, as they instead opted to first promote White Christmas. George Weil was the vocal director for his show. Okay, here we go, the Andy Williams Show. So that's where George Weil actually came from. He was the vocal director for the Andy Williams Show, and he wrote the song specifically for the show. And so it was actually Andy Williams' second Christmas show that this was done for. So he started singing it every Christmas, and it is now a standard. Others that recorded this: 1986, Johnny Mathis; 1999, Garth Brooks; 2008, Hoagie Carmichael; 1995, it was used, and you probably remember it as much as I do. It was a Staples office supply commercial, and it was the back to school time. The most wonderful time of the year for parents, back to school. I thought that was cute. So that's what we're going to learn today. This is a waltz, and it works the best on a jazz waltz. And it actually has its own background. So if you're in the larger instruments, Wonderful Waltz is perfect. What if you don't have Wonderful Waltz? It's a waltz. Put it on waltz full band and pick some wonderful instruments and play. Now, it does go fast. So that is one thing you are going to have to worry about. It actually comes up at, I think it comes up even faster than this if you go to song setup. I'm going to play this. Oh yeah, it comes up at 180. Play it at 160 or slower, because if you play it at 180, you're going to have to make sure your fingers are all warmed up and ready to go. Yep. And drink a lot of coffee first. Now, if you do not have the song setup, which is Wonderful Waltz, it might be in song setup for jazz waltz, but then you don't have the fabulous introduction, which sounds like this. Okay. That's only in Wonderful Waltz, if you have it. If you do not, I have this all printed out for you, or written out for you. So you can use this. Now, look at all those four-fingered chords in the right hand. If you just play the chord and the top note of each one of these, it will be the same thing. So if I just play... That's what this is. So you make sure you put your harmony on and just play the top note, and you'll be able to do it just fine. For those of you who really want to challenge yourself, go ahead and play all those four-fingered chords. They're there for you if you want them. And I'm adding extra chords. So I think I'm just going to play it first, and we'll enjoy the playing, and we'll play it on the Wonderful Waltz. I think I actually chose different presets than what came up for song setup, but that's because it's got a whole bunch of them. So I'm using strings and bells on the top, and I'm using a trumpet trombone on the bottom. It's probably preset number 4. All right, so let's go back to the intro and... So if you have the wonderful waltz, yeah, that just sounds so cool. But if you use a jazz waltz, it's going to sound just as good. Now I'm going to show off a variety of sounds. That was the strings and bells. So on smaller instruments, just go to your waltz full band and play at 160. Oh, you might want to start a little slower so you can learn the chords and the fingering. And you can
What tempo were you at, Dawn?
I'm at 160. 160. Yeah. This is just a fun song to play. You feel good. You play this song, it's like, wow! It just puts you in that mood. It is so wonderful. And the bottom one was a combination trumpet and trombone. So any of your horns are going to be fabulous on this. I also played this on jazz waltz with the George Shearing combination. Here comes Mavis of the vibes and the guitar and the piano gives you that shearing sound, and it is also on a harmony. And this is one that you're going to want to play this intro on, because jazz waltz does not have this intro. Now, yeah, you can use the intro that's there, but guess what? Okay, so that works too. And it's just jumpy and bouncy and peppy. So if you've got one of those bouncy, peppy waltzes, use it. Otherwise, just use a regular waltz, regular basic waltz even, and choose some sounds that are going to be Christmassy. You can even choose the bells. That would also be good. But this is a harmonica. There's nothing wrong with trying some different things. All right, now, did you have any trouble following the roadmap? This is kind of a tricky roadmap. Yeah. Nope, Daddy said no problems? No problems, huh? Okay. For those of you who need to know what the roadmap is, let's bring out your colors, because your colors are going to be the best way to find it. I also recommend spreading out your pages because you're going to be going back and forth. So if you make copies, then you can put up all 4 pages at a time, and it works much better that way. If you follow the lyrics, it's going to tell you exactly where to go. The problem is your first ending is so long. So all of page 1, the second page top line, then the second line, that's where you have your first ending. But it goes for 2 complete lines, that first ending. So make that a color. I made mine yellow. And then where's it going back to? The immediate dots, which would be back at the beginning. So you make that yellow, and then you're going to go back and do the second verse. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. Now here's where you got to know exactly where you're going, because this is the second time around. And that first ending is so long, you better know where you're going because it goes so fast. Put a little colorful 2 at the end of that first line. And then you want to find the second ending and trace the 2 with that same color. And if you need to put an arrow, go ahead and put an arrow so you know exactly where you're going. So the blue 2 goes to the blue 2, line 4. And you do have to be real careful with that because it's so easy to go, now where do I go? So if you have them in colors, your brain will actually notice the colors before it notices the second ending down here in black and white. Okay, so now you're going to play the last 2 lines of the second page and the third page, the entire page. When you get to the end of the page, you have 2 thin lines and you have some instructions. 2 thin lines is the end of a section. Ramon, we're on the most wonderful time of the year. And it says DS al coda. So I'm going to make that pink right there. You're welcome. And I'm going back to the silly sign. DS means dal segno, al coda. So I'm going to go back to the silly sign. Guess what that is? The same place we went back to before. the same place. So in order to prevent us from turning pages, it is easier to have all 4 of these spread out. So pink goes back to pink, make the silly sign pink. But now we're looking for the 2 coda because we want to go to the final ending. So all of page 1, page 2, the top line, there you have 2 coda. I'm going to make mine green. And then we're going to jump over to the last page. The last whole page is the coda. And so you make that green, and if you want to put an arrow there, go ahead. And then you go to the final ending and play that last page. Questions about the roadmap? Nope. Okay. If you can follow the lyrics, you can follow where we're going. It's pretty self-explanatory that way. Okay, let's do some extra chords. Now this is what's also going to make it a little tricky because it's not just the chords that are there. I'm going to have you learning some new chords. All right, so make that very first C a C add 9. C add 9. That's a 3-fingered chord. It's actually pretty easy. Your 3 notes are C chicken, D dinosaur, and This is happening way too often. Am I back?
Yeah, now you are.
Now I'm back. Huh. Technology, what a wonderful thing. Okay, the very first C is a C add 9. C add 9. That is a 3-fingered chord. C chicken, D dinosaur, and E elephant. And it's a jazz chord. Here's a C. Here's a C add 9. It just fattens it up a little bit. Now, what's the difference between a C add 9 and a C 9? The add 9 does not include the 7th. The 9 does include the 7th. So then it's a 4-fingered chord. So this one's actually easier to play. C, D, E, all in a row. The A minor, you may put a 7 on the A minor. Second line, you may put a 7 on the D minor. Remember, 7s are always optional. You may put a 7 on the G, F and G. The C, you can make it a C6, or you can make it a C6-9. Oh my, that's a 5-fingered chord. Wow. Okay, so a C6-9 is C, D, E, the same as a C add 9. And then you're also going to add G, A. Wow, is that pretty? Here's the C. Here's the C6. Here's the C with the C6 and the 9. Wow. So it's C, D, E, G, A. Skip the F. A minor, you may put a 7 on that. Third line, D minor, you may put a 7 on that. The G can be a 7 or it can be a G9. If you're just playing G7, it's F and G. If you're playing the G9, it's F, G, A, B. 4 notes in a row. Just take those 4 fingers and slap them down. F, G, A, B. The D minor, you may put a 7 on it. Last line on that page, you may put a 7 on the G. Instead of the E minor, I want you to cross it out and replace it with a C major 7. C capital M-A-J 7, 2 notes, C and B, chickens and butterflies. If you want to put the C on the bottom, I won't look. Cross out the A minor and replace it with C7. Top of the next page, cross out the D minor and replace it with F, plain old F. Cross out the D or D7 and replace it with C, diminished 7, or just C diminished. C diminished is C and F sharp. C diminished 7 is C, E flat, F sharp, A. It just makes it a little bit richer, but you can play it with 2 fingers and it's fine. Questions so far? Nope, you guys are taking good notes. Okay, first ending. The C chord is good for 1 measure. The second measure, first beat, over the G for wonderful, put in an A minor or an A minor 7, alligator minor. Cross out the G chord and replace it with D minor, dinosaur minor, or D minor 7, C, D, F. Next measure, over that blacked in quarter note, while you're still holding that G, you're going to play a G7. Second line, here's where we're going to cross out the C and we're going to replace it with an E flat major 7. And we're also going to change the note in the right hand. E flat major 7 is D dinosaur and E flat. Remember, the major 7 rule is the letter -1, 1 right next door. And instead of playing in the right hand the C note, you're going to play a G on the second line. So you're changing the chord and the note. Here's what's written. You're going to play it like this. Wow, does that sound cool? Then you're going to cross out the A minor and throw it away. You're going to stay on E flat major 7 for 2 measures. The D minor.
I have lost you, Dawn.
Oh, okay. I'm on line 3.
Really lost. I think I got off the wrong. Actually, I think I went to line 2 when you were finishing up line 1.
Okay.
Can you quickly go over line 1 again?
Line 1 is cross out the D minor and replace it with F.
Yeah.
Cross out the D7 and replace it with C diminished.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's it for line 1.
Oh. All right.
Line 2 is C for 1 measure. The second measure is A minor 7.
Yeah.
The third measure, cross out the G and replace it with D minor 7. And the fourth measure, which doesn't have a chord, you're going to put in a chord. You're going to put in a G7.
Okay.
All right. Third line. The third line is where we take out the C and we're going to replace it with an E flat major 7, D and E flat. This is an important chord. This is going to make your song really pop. And that goes for 2 measures. And you want to change that C note to a G on the second line. And you're going to hold that chord and that note for 2 measures, which means you're going to cross out the A minor and throw it away. The D minor can have a 7 on it, and the G can have a 7 on it. Second ending. E minor is good, A minor is good. D minor, put a 7 on it. If you wish, remember 7s are optional. The G, you may put a 7 on it. The last line on that page, the G minor, you can put a 7 on it. The next measure, over that whited in dotted half note, put a C7.
What number?
The second measure.
What, D7?
No, a C7, chicken 7.
C7.
Which is
Thank
C.
you.
Yep, C and B flat. The next measure, cross out the C that's there and replace it with G minor or G minor 7. And then the last measure over that quarter rest, go back to a C7 or a C9. Now, this is not an add 9. This is a C9. So you have to play 4 notes. Or you can just play C7. It's C and B flat. If you make it a 9, it's B flat, C, D, E. And you can put the B flat on top or you can put the B flat on the bottom. Does not matter. So you can challenge yourself or not. Now remember, you learned one new chord today and you're good. Yeah. All right, go to the page 3, the third page. Make that F at the top of the page an F major 7. F capital MAJ7. Your 2 notes are E and F. Second measure, cross out the D minor and replace it with C diminished. C diminished. C and F sharp. The E minor is good. Second line, you may put a 7 on all 3 of those chords. A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. Or not. Third line, the C chord is good for 1 measure. Second measure, over that rest, make it a C7, C and B flat. The F minor, you may put a 7 on it. That would be E flat, F, A flat. Next line, the B flat, you may make it a B flat 7, which would be A flat and B flat. The E flat, make it an E flat major 7, which is D and E flat. We wrote that one in on the other page. Cross out the A flat and turn it into a C minor. C minor, chicken minor. C and E flat. Cross out the F minor on that last line and make it a D minor 7 flat 5. It's a 4-finger chord. You will like it. No, I promise you, you'll like it. It's a fun chord. C, D, F, A flat. Chickens, dinosaurs, fish, and flat alligators. Second measure, over the F for long, put in an A flat or an A flat 7, which would be G flat and A flat. The G can be a G7, or it can be a G sus, or it can be a G7 sus. So it can be a 1-finger chord, 2-finger chord, 3-finger chord, or 4-finger chord, whatever you want. G7 is F and G. G sus is C, D, G. Chickens, dinosaurs, and gorillas. And if you want, you can add the 7, which is the F. And then we go to the last page. The C is good for 1 measure. Measure 2. A minor or A minor 7. Alligator minor, C and A. Measure 3. You may put a 7 on the D minor. Second line, you may put a 7 on the G. The C, make it a C major 7, C and B. And you can put the B on the bottom and play it down here, or you can play it like this, whichever way is the easiest for you. Third measure, A minor or A minor 7. Next line, you may put a 7 on the D minor. The G, make it a G7. The C, make it a C major 7. C and B. The next line, first measure, over the G for wonderful, put in an A minor or A minor 7. We're almost done. I know it's 4 pages. The D minor, you may put a 7 on it. The G, you may put a 7 on it. The last line, the C is good. The first one, cross out the D minor and replace it with A flat. Plain old A flat. Just put your thumb on an A flat. Cross out the C, and we're going to have 3 chords at the end. So replace the C with a D minor, dog minor, dinosaur minor. And it can have a 7 on it if you wish. Going to a G7, gorilla 7, and then ending with a C, of course. So your last line is that just gives you a little bit of a challenge. And like I said, if you learn one new chord, you are 100% successful. And you most certainly probably don't want to play it at 160 to get it started. You probably want to go a little slower than that to get it under your fingers. But once you get it going, wow, 160 is a blast to play it. Any questions so far?
One,
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
I would say coming in, so what did you use background?
Go to your song setup. It should come up Wonderful Waltz. If you do not have Wonderful Waltz, go to your Jazz Waltz.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, at 160. Yep,
Dawn, this is Robert. Do you hear me?
I can.
A technical question. Your voice modulation is good. When you sometimes, like you played that last line and the 4 or 5 chords, I didn't receive them. I couldn't hear them at all. I saw your fingers moving, but I didn't hear them. Does anybody
Okay.
else have that problem?
I didn't hear
I
it
didn't
either.
hear.
You didn't
Yeah.
hear him either?
Yeah. No.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear them?
No.
Wow, because it's coming through here loud and clear. It's coming through my. All right, I'm just going to go to. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear that. Okay, so you just weren't hearing the strings in the low end of the chord. Okay, all right.
Frequently that happens.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen.
You using a separate pickup or your regular mic to pick it up from the organ sound?
I'm using everything from a cable into an 8-track mixer. So I can tell if it's clipping or not. So it doesn't distort.
That your voice sounds good. It's
Okay,
It's just the
good.
chords. Yeah.
Just yeah, and that's in a different track, but those chords weren't sounding okay. Let me try a different set of chords. Nope, I don't want the waltz. I want easy. Let's try this.
Can't hear it.
First chord
Can't hear it?
sounded. The first chord sounded, but the rest of them nothing.
Really, that's amazing because I'm already way up in the red. So, all right, I just won't play those chords then. I'm just going to play it. I'm just going to play it with the jazz waltz. Now that I've got all the extra chords written in, hopefully you can hear a little bit about what they do.
Dawn,
Okay. Yeah.
would you play the first two lines again, but you put your right hand up one octave?
Yes, absolutely. I just don't like the sound up there, but I will. Up. If you like that sound up an octave, please go do that. But on that shearing, for some reason, it gets a little bit edgy in the higher register. And you might not like that sound at all. You might want to put it on something completely different. Like I said, don't be afraid to try your horns. A flugelhorn on this would be fabulous. So yeah, have fun trying your sounds. And you might want to go to your categories and do like your category presets for your holidays and try some of those and see what comes up.
Dawn, we lost her. Can't hear you.
Audio is good, the audio is gone.
Why? That makes absolutely zero sense.
Coming back.
You're faint.
I'm faint. See, it makes
There you
absolutely-
are.
Okay, it makes no sense at all why it would fade like that.
You were just gone for a while.
Really? Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry because my mixer says everything's fine. Like I
Blame
said,
it on Robert.
technology.
Give you.
They are doing some construction work and some electronic work, like 2 stores down. So that I'm gonna blame them. Okay. I will
Yeah.
blame them. Anything that happens is because they're cutting wires and redoing stuff, and who knows what they're doing. So my apologies. My
No
apologies.
need to
Blame
apologize.
Robert.
We got the gist of it all.
Okay. All right. I do my best with what I got, so I'm sorry.
Doing fine, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I will do some fingering for those who want it. The rest of you have fun playing this song. This is really a fun one to play. Once you get it underneath your fingers, it's like, wow. So there's no questions on the roadmap, no questions on the extra chords. Okay, then all you got to do is get on your instrument and have fun and just research stuff and poke buttons and get your jazzy waltzes out and try some really fun sounds and see what kind of recipes you can come up with. So,
On page 2,
uh-huh.
line 3, I
Uh-huh.
think you changed a letter there under where we crossed out the A minor.
We just crossed out the A minor and threw it away. We're going to stay on the E flat major 7 and that G note for 2 measures.
Okay, the G note. Where is this G note?
No place to see.
In place of the C note.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 'Cause
That's
we
what.
changed the chord. Yeah, we changed the chord to an E major 7. And we changed the note from a C to a G.
Got
Dawn,
it.
Yeah.
the bottom of the third page, 128,
Uh-huh.
measure. Did you put a G7 in over the E?
Bottom of page 3.
Page 126 at the bottom? You have a G sus.
Yeah, G
Or
sus
G-sus.
or a G sus 7.
And then over the E, there wasn't a G7?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. If you want to put a G7 there, it's okay. It's okay because, you know, it resolves, but it just goes so fast anyway. That if you play the G sus, if you want to resolve it to the G7 over the E, you may, but it's not necessary because you're going
Okay.
right back to a C add 9 and the G sus. If you're playing it as a G sus 7, you don't need the 7. If you're playing G sus, then you might want to go back to the G7. But like I said, too, it's going so fast. As long as you're playing a form of a G chord, it's going to sound okay.
Could you give me the changes on the very first 2 lines?
First 2 lines. Yes, Miss Brenda. The C is a C add 9. C A D D 9, which is C D E. It's a 3-fingered chord. Chickens, dinosaurs, and elephants. and you may put a 7 on the A minor.
Okay.
The second line, it's a D minor 7, a G7, and the C can be a C6-9, which is a 5-fingered chord, and you can play either a C9 or a C6 or a C add 9, or just play them all together. C, D, E, G, A.
C, D, E,
C,
G,
D,
A.
E, G, A.
Okay.
It's just 5 fingers and it'll say C6-9. And again, if you don't feel like playing it, play just a C chord. But sometimes
And-
those extra chords are just really fun to throw them in, and it will make it sound really nice.
And then
Any
with,
other? Go
and
ahead.
with the minor,
Pardon?
the A minor is good at the end of
The A
two?
minor is a 7. You can put a 7 on it if you
Okay.
want.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Another question, Dawn.
Yes.
The beginning,
Uh-huh.
where there's a no chord,
Mhm.
did you play a G sus there by any chance?
I did not, except for the fact that you're using it before you go back to, DSL coda. Because if I'm playing the, no, I actually ended up playing a G9 before going to it on the intro that I have.
Uh-huh.
I have a G9 as your last chord, and then I have a no chord over the E and the F, just like it is here.
Okay.
So any form of a G chord, because yes, a G7 is the lead-in chord for C. So a G7 or a G9 is, or G sus is going to work as the lead-in chord for a C.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Oh, you
Dawn,
guys
I
have
had the
any
same
idea?
notation from a previous class.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Yep. Well, that's the thing. You're going to get all different teachers are going to give you different things. Try them all and see which ones you like. And they'll probably all work. And see which ones you like the best. Always let your ear be the final judge for the song that you end up playing. Okay, next week we're going to do the Christmas song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. If you need a copy, you know where to come. Let me know.
Christmas song.
The Christmas song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yeah, so we'll be doing that one. The rest of you stick around. We're going to do some fingering. And have a fabulous week. Hopefully we'll see some of you in the Friday class. Otherwise, we'll see you all here next Wednesday. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
rest
Thank
of you get your
you.
pencils out. Back to work.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Bye.
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 E1, E1, F2, G3, check mark, G2, C5, A3. Now, if you can do that a little bit differently, so you don't have to switch fingers on that G, if you can reach up to that GC with a 3-5, go ahead, as my fingers are too short to do that. All right, second line, G2, F1, D2, put a circle around it. That is a crossover. C1. Several ways to do this next line. I'm only going to give you one way. D1, E2, F3, D1, D1. Next line, D1, E2, F3, G4, E1, watch that, E1, E1, F2, G3. Let's go to the next page. A4, F1, watch that too, because it's normally that's a 3 to a 1 spread. You're going to do a 4 to a 1 spread. The next A is a 3 and the C is a 5. So that is A4, F1, A3, C5. End of that line, B4, A3. First ending, G2, G2, C5, A3, G2, F1, D2 with a circle. The G that we wrote in is a 5. Your pickup notes are E1, F2. Second ending G2, G2. Watch out, it's B5. Normally you want to put a 4 on it. Put a 5 on it. A4, G3, F2, D1. The B flat can either be 5 or 4, whichever one you're most comfortable with, because sometimes those black keys are harder to hit with that pinky. Low C1, low C1. Let's go to the next page. A3, 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 A3. B4, A3, G2, 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 C5, G2, F1, 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 F1. A can be 4 or 3, G can be 3 or 2, and E is a 1. So whichever ones get there first. C1, C1, A flat 3, A flat 3, A flat 3, B flat 4, A flat 3, G2, 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 A flat 3, G2, F1, 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 E flat 2, circle it. F can be 3 or 1, and G is 4 or 2, whichever one is the easiest for you to get to. Your pickup notes are E1, F2. Let's go to the coda on the 4th page. G2, G2, B4, A3, G2. Second line, E1, F2, G3. Put a little check mark. The next G can either be 2 or 1. That's so that you can get up to that high D with a 5. C4, G2. E1, F2, G3, check mark. The next G is a 1, high E5, C3, G1, B2, D4, C3. Okay, that's it. The whole issue with this song is the speed, and you want to just play it the way you sing it and just have a wonderful time with it.
Dawn, this is
Yeah.
Barb. I'm finally home. I'm so happy.
Yay!
That second line, you said something there that I missed. I have the G is a 2. We did this song one other time. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was the G a 2, and then did you change a note there or anything in that line? It's G2, F1, D2,
Correct.
and then C1. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
I
you.
don't think I've changed too much since the last time we did this.
No, it's
Yeah.
very. I'm so
And
glad.
Christmas, there's only a certain amount of songs.
Right. No, it's
So
awesome.
we are going to have repeats from year to year. And
Oh,
from
well,
teacher
sure.
to
Oh,
teacher.
that's
Yeah.
all right. That's what they do. You know, that's what we do. No, I'm so glad to be here, and I thank you so much.
Oh, it's good to have you back, Miss Barb.
Oh, well, me too. Never again that long. Oh, too long. I forgot how to open my garage door.
Oh, no. Oh,
What's the code? Oh yeah, I know. Now I know. It's like, oh, and I got
how
home
long
in
were you actually gone?
2.5 months.
What?
Four,
Oh, my.
4 weddings, middle of September.
Oh, my. That's right. You did have all those.
4 grandkids get married. 1 in September, 2 October, 1 in the end of November.
So I guess now it's not a good time to ask you to put any money into an organ, huh?
Well, I just want to stay home. I walked in, I was like, oh, there's my bed. Oh, there's my
Yes.
chair. Oh, there's my dishes. Oh, I'm so happy.
There's no place like home.
Oh, I am not kidding you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're
Oh,
home too.
My daughter did all my decorating while I was gone.
Oh,
Week before I
nice.
home, I was like, holy cow. So
Wow.
it was worth it. That was about the best. I'm so glad. And you're so awesome for doing all you work as hard as you do.
Well, I love doing what I do, and I love
Yeah.
all you guys, and I'm
Mm.
so glad that you come to my
It's
classes
such a
because
blessing.
I
Such a blessing.
couldn't do it without you.
We're really, really, really blessed to have this.
Well, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Some of you I'll see on Friday, some of you I'll see on Saturday, some of you I'll see next week, and just
Dawn,
enjoy
could I-
yourselves. Yes,
What's going on Saturday? That's just a usual
it's a
Saturday.
players class, but we're having
Yeah.
our Christmas parties on Saturday, the next 2 Saturdays, and it's Christmas cookies, and it's I'll email you.
Okay.
It's gonna be real casual. It's for anybody that wants to come,
Okay.
and not super crowded.
And that's at what time?
11 o'clock both days.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you at one of those,
Okay.
or I
Thank
can
you.
email you too.
Please do. Okay. Thanks so much.
All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.